Hi, Arnab.
Right. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for joining and congrats again on your ISB admit.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot.
I know this week would have or is tight with a lot of things happening. Your classes are starting next week, yeah, or and around end of this week. So thanks for taking the time and sharing with us your journey and insight. So maybe I'll just give a quick overview of what we'll cover or why we're doing this success story debrief, and then I'll pass it over to you. So the goal is simple. It's basically to give applicants that are looking at business schools, especially ISB, an overview of what the process is like, right? Because you've gone through over a number of months, starting from thinking about doing an MBA, to considering schools, which schools to pick, to writing the CV, essays, and selecting recommenders, also the interview process. So I want to touch on briefly those aspects just to get an inside glimpse of because what I feel is there is some information online, but a lot is kind of in the black box, right? People either don't have as much specific insights from somebody that has gone through the process, or there's a lot of assumptions or question marks. So in a way, we want to sort of put those things into perspective from someone that has gone through the journey himself, right? So with that, let's if you could start with giving a background or introduction of yourself. Let's start from there.
Sure. Hi, everyone who's watching this video. My name is Arnab. I had been working as a software developer in BlackRock for roughly 5 years. I did my BTech in information technology as well. So that is how I transitioned into my software development role at BlackRock. Within the last 5 years, I have been working closely um, on a product that is basically a portfolio reporting tool. And as I grew along the role, my responsibility started including directing where the product goes. And although I was still on the technical side, this direction that the product was going piqued my interest, and I wanted to be in control of the product itself. I did not just want to contribute in the technical aspect, but also making the decisions and guiding where the product goes. And I think that's essentially what sparked my MBA interest as well. I want to be in a position of making decisions. I wanted to be closer to the entire decision making process and have my inputs, have my ideas sweep into whatever the product is. So yeah, that's what I think I would say sparked my MBA interest. And I might have again, I was asked for a brief introduction, but I might have also given my reasons for pursuing MBA. But yeah, that's me.
Yeah, that's good. That's great. So let's talk a bit about the once you had the motivation, right, or the interest to do an MBA, how did you go about thinking about or prioritizing which schools to apply to, which rounds, etc. So
So for me, I did consider both GMAT and CAT, but the problem with CAT was that since I had 5 years of experience, and the IIM programs are usually geared towards people with slightly lesser experience. I thought this, let's say ISP or any other MBA colleges that take the GMAT score, that was much more relevant to me, to my profile, and that is why I chose to give GMAT. Yeah, I started applying in round two. I was unfortunately not in time to apply in round one. I think I gave my GMAT exam during almost at the end of the round one cycle. So yeah, I was a bit short of time in that case. My GMAT prep was usually like being an engineer, I was particularly good with maths, and that my GMAT score also showed that. Like I gave two attempts for GMAT and I got 100% percentile in Quant for both of them. So I think, yeah, what helped me was I would usually basically start with certain topics. I would alternate between con, DI, and verbal every 2 3 days so that I'm in touch with everything. And once I started getting a grasp of all the concepts and I was getting back into the groove of the education mindset, I started giving mixed bag of questions where I would do questions across all topics, both maybe verbal, DI, quant mix, or maybe all topics of just Quant makes, something along those lines. Once I started feeling some confidence in my ability on attempting these questions, I started giving out mock tests. So I think I used a third party called GMAT's mock test initially. So what I did was, initially, before even starting my prep, I gave a mock without any preparation, just to know where I stand, to know what my weaknesses and strengths are. And post that, yeah, I started practicing. Once I started giving the mock test after my preparation, I gave the first two GMAT official free mock test, which again, I would say they are a bit on the easier side compared to the actual test. But yeah, it helped me a lot to again know that after the preparation, what are my weaknesses and what I need to strengthen. I did purchase, I think, another third party. It was Experts Global, I believe. I purchased their 15 set of 15 mock tests, and I started giving them as well. I kept the other four official mock tests that GMAT gives you. Like, you'll have to purchase it, but I kept it. I wanted to give it closer to the actual test deadline, because I thought they were more reflective of the actual test. So yeah, I think in the end I was giving 2 marks a week, and I was slightly touching upon topics so that I keep in touch and I do not lose my toe. Yeah, I think on the GMAT Focus Edition, I scored 675, which that was my first attempt. I scored 675, and I think that's when I contacted you, Arvind, because that was essentially a very good score. So I wanted to start the next process, the application process, immediately after that. I did give another attempt, because I thought I could do better than 675, but unfortunately, I did not. So yeah, that's what the score was, which I carried through to my applications.
Right.
Um, yeah, that was my GMAT prep essentially.
Right. Let's talk a bit about about your profile overall, right? So the score is obviously a strength. So if you were to sort of list down in hindsight, of course, but I think we discussed this also during the process on what are some key strengths that the top, let's say, 2 or 3 key strengths that your profile had, and also challenges, because no profile is perfect. There's, always some, I wouldn't say challenge, but let's say areas to consider or, present effectively so it doesn't get perceived, because a lot of it is also perception on some of the areas of consideration of the challenges that you felt that were on the profile.
So I think my strength that always showed up during my 5 years of experience at BlackRock was that I was constantly being thrown into a mix of things which I had no preparation for, which I had no experience with, and I was always coming out on top of these things. That is, I think, one of the major strengths that I have put in my ISB applications as well. It is my adaptability and my resiliency across a varied amount of challenges. I think the major concern that I had seen during my application preparation was that I was lacking a promotion. And because I had 5 years of experience, it could be a major point that the AdCom might see. I think I do remember telling you about the same thing, because again, like you said, these challenges need to be framed and presented efficiently so that it does not glaringly stand out as a weakness. And I think you helped a lot in that case, because with my profile, like, even though I was not promoted, I was increasingly getting responsibilities as I progressed in the career. And that's what you also mentioned, that we should focus on, instead of outright saying that I'm not getting a promotion. So I think that helped a lot, because the optional essays which these colleges give, they give you room to explain whatever you think might be a weakness in you. And yeah, I think it was great to frame it in a way that when I was getting responsibilities, I started leading sections of the product as well. So yes, I think we redefined the lack of promotion into a strength very well. And yeah, it helped me put my story like I wanted to, and not have any glaring issues.
Right. And you're right. I mean, because I would say it depends on the industry, on the company, and also on the team, right? Because some industries, companies, teams fast track promote, the promotion
Hmm.
cycle, durations, or the criteria for promotion might even be different. But that's also, I would say, a misconception or myth that a lot of people have is you need to have, the
Constant growth.
same ideal
Yeah.
case scenario with a lot of, if you have it, great, but it
Mm.
doesn't happen in all companies or even in all teams. So what is, in my view, equally, if not more important, is the aspect that you mentioned, which is how have you evolved, right? I mean, initially, what were you doing, or what activities or what kind of projects, or even who did you interact with, and so on, and
Yeah.
has increased, has the scope of your responsibilities, and you had also started mentoring juniors, right, or people in the team.
Juniors. Yeah.
I would also add
Hmm.
to the strengths, in the sense that, because it's not only analytics, coding, tech, etc., but it's also the people side of things, which all schools look for it. I mean, it's not just the abroad business schools, even ISB.
Hmm.
You look at the essays, they're pretty introspective. It asks you
Yeah.
much more than just why MBA, or what your goals
Hmm.
are. So yeah. So with that,
Yeah. Sorry, I was just saying, I do think, yeah, that leadership abilities are, I think, valued a lot. So yes, whenever you have it in your profile, if you have done it, be sure to mention it. Yes, definitely.
right, right, absolutely. So let's talk a bit about the CV and the essay process, right? So can you talk about how you went through the process, what are the steps we followed, and any insights that you gained through that process?
I think the first thing was once I started working with you, I think was the administrate questionnaire, and I thought it was very thorough. The questions that you were asking, the number of anecdotes that you were asking in that, I did not think I had that many anecdotes, but it helped me introspect into my past 5 years, and it helped me come up with all of the strengths and weaknesses even that I thought I did not have. So that was very helpful. It was a very good place to start. It gave me a launching pad immediately for my CV and for my essays. So that was, I think, a very good thing that helped me out very initially. For the CV process, I think yes, most of us I have seen that have our CVs which are very outdated, and they're all geared towards finding new roles, new jobs, essentially. And the CVs that B schools look for are quite different from the ones which companies look for. So yeah, I think working with you, like that was the first point I remember. You mentioned that we need to fix the CV with utmost importance, because once we have done that, only then can we proceed on to the essays. I think, yes, again, the one thing that I learned was that you need to quantify everything on your CV, whatever you have worked on, whatever you have done. Uh, these schools look for quantification. They need to see some quantifiable
Right,
result of whatever you have done. So I think that's what we worked on essentially, and putting it in a chronological order obviously is a must for a CV. I think, yeah, again, with the questionnaire and the CV fixing process that we did, I think I also started looking into the things that I had done in college, so that even I tried to quantify them as well. Uh, I would not say tried, it was like I was able to quantify them, because the things that we do usually, whether in college, whether in a job profile, they are more often than not. They have they are result oriented, and it's
sure.
just that when we are working and when we have done whatever we did, it's not in the front of our mind, like we have done it, but we do not even realize that, oh, I brought this percentage of business, or I increased this efficiency by this much percent, something like that. So yeah, I think that's one thing that the um, CV had working with you, that my CV was now more result oriented, as well as all the co-curricular activities that I had done. They also help you a lot because they portray a more rounded picture of you. It's not just academics that these schools look for. They also want the co-curriculars, how how interested you are in giving back to the society. It all helps. Yeah.
Right, right, absolutely. Right. So let's talk a bit about the process after that, right? So the LOR essays done, shortlisting for ISB. So can you share how the interview experience was like? Now there's also the VAT that was introduced. So there was first the VAT, and then the personal interview. You did it in person in Delhi, right? So with a panel. So can you share about the interview experience and how you felt, and also what topics were covered during the
Sure. Yeah. So yeah, I think ISB introduced VATs this year again. And yeah, I was a bit comprehensive about it because I wasn't sure what was to be expected in these slots. But I think again, you shared a long list of all the questions that you should prepare for, and I did that. It gave me a gist of what might be asked, and I think it covered almost every um, direction that the questions might come from. So, preparing for the words first of all definitely helps you answer the word, but it also helps you prepare for the interviews as well, because a variation of the words are always asked in interviews, and that was what my personal experience was. So yeah, we had 20 minutes to answer two questions. We wrote essays. It was in a room full of other people as well. So it is not just me. We were all very close by setting, and everyone was typing as fast as they could. Um, I think for what they had asked me was something similar to how would you react to someone in your group not contributing as much as you would like, and not even as much as you would like. Like, what would the steps that you would take to rectify the situation? So yeah, I think it made you think on the spot for um, 20 minutes. Yeah, and they expect I think a 200 to 250 word essay immediately. So I think once you start preparing for that, it's very easy to do that. As you go through the application process itself, you know what you are, you know what all anecdotes you have, and it all plays into whatever question they ask. You have pointers ready where you can relate some anecdote of yours to whatever the question is. Yeah, post the words, once the interview started, there was a panel of three people. So for me, two of them seemed slightly senior to me, maybe 3, 4 years older. But there was one person who was, I would say, was 35, late 30s-ish, and he seemed quite experienced. And he was the one essentially who was asking most of the questions during the entire interview. Yeah, but as soon as I walked into the room, I could sense a feeling of hostility, I would say. Right from the get-go, they started grilling me. It was quite a grueling interview for me. I think the first thing that they were trying to get an answer for was why I was doing an MBA. Like I gave them my reason for my motivation for doing an MBA, and like how I wanted to pivot into product management, which I saw like a logical transition from what I have been working for the past 5 years. So they were very adamant on knowing, first of all, why I would want to transition to a product manager. Second, why I want to use ISB to transition into a product management role. And thirdly, why am I not continuing in my current role? Because with 5 years of experience, that there will be more opportunities opening up for me within my current firm. And it would again, from their point of view, I would not have to make the investment for a 1 year program, let alone the fees associated with it. Um, I also had stated in my applications and the interviews as well that I wanted to remain in the fintech sector because I had the industry knowledge now. And they were again very hell-bent on knowing why only fintech sector, why are you not open to other industries? They asked me lots of questions on if I get a job offer from, let's say, Swiggy, Blinkit, something like this, is some of the quick e-commerce
Right.
companies which offer me a product role, but I would have to sell tomatoes or sell brinjals or something like that. And this was all again in a very hostile manner. They were trying to, I think, unnerve me. And I think what was important was that I was making my point as calmly and composed in a composed manner as I could. Like I was arguing with them, but it was very professional. I wasn't losing my temper at any point of time, and they tried to make me to lose my temper. Being in BlackRock, the name also means a lot, and they try to use it against me as well. They try to use all of the whatever BlackRock does, it's a behemoth. So they try to blame it on me that I am responsible for what BlackRock's doing. And yeah, again, it was, I think, a tactic of unnerving them. But I think, yeah, once they realized that I'm not changing my answers, I was continuously giving the same, not
With
the
your
same.
and the points that you had and you couldn't get.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was maintaining my motivation correctly. I was not letting them deter me from
Right.
changing my answers. And I think one more question that they had, which we had prepared before the interview, was instead of a 1 year PGPM, 1 year MBA course, why are you not looking into some, 3 months or 6 months crash course into product management, which will help you pivot? So that was one question I think we had prepared in the mock interviews, and that yes, gave me like I already knew what to say, and it was just a matter of presentation, which I think I did good. Um, yeah, I think from these questions, they started giving me behavioral questions.
Mhm.
I was lucky to have the same question that they asked me in the what as the behavioral
Right.
question that the interviewers asked, that the panel asked. And again, I gave an answer similar to what I've written in the words, but they outright threw it that they wanted something personal because this answer was very professional and generic. They wanted something that might be very true to me and how I might behave in the actual scenario. Again, based on that question as well, I they were constantly trying to change the situation to they're
Right.
constantly throwing hurdles based on the question. So if I answer one part of the question, they would throw me slight obstacle. Okay, what if this also happened at the same time? What would you do now? And it kept on adding, they as and when I answered one question, they would immediately add on one more obstacle, one more
Way more
hurdle.
real life, right? I mean, if it were real life,
Exactly.
that's how pretty much it would play out or something like that. Yeah. Right.
Exactly, exactly. I mean, I understood their sense of their point of questioning, but yeah, it was pretty unnerving, I would say. I had to, the discussions were being so heated that there was times when I would ask them, okay, give me some time. I need a breather. I need to drink some water. I would ask them to stop, and they obviously obliged, and even they were
I
laughing
think
along
that's also
close to
part
me.
of the because some people tend to if they snap or if somebody in that position is either say burnt out or snaps or reacts in some negative way, then that's not a good sign as compared
Exactly.
to someone like you who is even if you're let's say stressed, you don't let it affect what you
Sure. Yeah.
say or or how you say it. It's more I've prepared. This is what I want to cover, and this is how I because I also heard this from a couple of other candidates that I think I mean this is my guess. I don't know the process in the interviewer's minds, but this is more of how you would respond when an adverse situation presents itself, right? Which it does, right? In
Hmm.
any job or
Yeah.
any role or any industry. And I think that's also part of the test, right? More than the question itself on what the answer is on how what is the situation around when the question or the situation is asked or the task is presented and how you respond to
Mhm.
it.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I definitely again understand their point of view in the question because you want to know how this individual is gonna perform under pressure. It is going to be a part of your career, so it makes sense to ask those questions.
Right.
Uh,
And even at ISB for that matter, right? It's 12 around a year's program, which means it's going to be
quite
fast
hectic.
and
Yeah.
this you need to prioritize and so on. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I think yeah, post the behavioral questions that went on for roughly 40 to 45 minutes, this whole experience, post that which they opened the floor up to any questions. I did ask a few questions which I thought was relevant to how would I find a job after ISP because networking is an important part of your MBA journey. So I was asking questions along those lines, and yeah, they did answer it quite a lot. And I think the panel that I had was, even though they were grilling me, but they were also very helpful and coordinating and answering everything that I asked, and they answered everything very well. So yeah, once the floor opened to questions, the whole atmosphere changed. That hostility dropped immediately. I could feel that they were very supportive then, and yeah, I think I asked the question is session like the time went for around 15 minutes or so, roughly 55 to 1 hour the interview lasted. Yeah, one thing that like the panelist who was grilling me the most just before I was leaving the room, he told me that you are checking all the tech boxes for me. And that was like the a thumbs up that I got from the panel right then and there, which although yeah, whatever before it was quite grueling and stressful, but yeah, that gave me some sense of validation. So yeah, that's how the interview experience went.
Right. Thank you for I think that candid. It also helps, I think, people that are applying, both, considering applying or applying to ISB to know what it is like, because sometimes it may be very easy or friendly
Mhm.
or so on. And there are such situations also, but sometimes it could be, let's say, well, I wouldn't say stressful, but it's not as you expect. Stress is when you see something which you might not have expected, or is
Yeah.
or if something's thrown at you which you didn't prepare for, right? So yeah, I think that would
I mean, so from my personal experience, one of my friends had his interview a day before me for ISB as well. And his interview, based on what he said, was very friendly. They asked him just professional questions. They just wanted to know what he did. There were
Mhm.
no such stress tests. So yeah, that's I know people who have seen the other side as well, and even he got an admit. So
Right.
it might again depend very much on your panel.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. So Arnab, what is your, you've gone through the ISB process, you researched, you spoke to alumni, etc. You've attended, sessions, also the interview process. So what is it that, if you were to point out one thing that really stands out, right, or that made you sort of, choose the school and join, what would it be?
I think first of all, this being a 1 year program was very helpful because all B schools are quite expensive, and getting back into the job market right after a year of studies is very helpful. It will help you not lose your position. And on top of it, I mean, ISB is one of the India's top B schools, so I mean, the name pulls it off essentially. But if I go into the specifics, I would say the specializations and the courses that they have for product management, that was essentially what pulled me towards ISB. The obviously ISB again has made most of its cohort placed into consultancy roles, but right after consultancy placements, product management is the second most placed direction, the role. So yeah, I think that was also something that aligned with what I wanted to do. And yeah, the so professors are very good at ISP, and like I did during my research, I did look into the professors, their specializations, their expertise, and what all was available from the official pages itself. And again, yeah, I could see that whatever skills that I felt were lacking, I thought there were courses perfectly aimed to hone those skills, and that's exactly what drew me towards ISP.
Right. Right. Okay, great. So let's, wrap it up. What would be your tips, or let's say insights or advice for applicants that are looking at ISP, right, that want to apply and that have ISP at their number one choice? What would you advise?
I think first of all, even before you get to choosing ISB, you need to just start somewhere. Once you start, the when you start, you'll get into the groove, and that will push you forward through our entire journey. Obviously, having people like you helping me along the way was a big part of it. You pushed me like. I think the deadlines that you gave for the first draft, the second draft, third draft, whatever it was, it gave me a sense of a deadline, and yeah, that put up some pressure on me, which made me work towards finishing all the stuff. But yeah, I think majorly it would be make sure what you want to do, whatever whatever you want to eke out of an MBA. Make sure if it is ISB, make sure that the courses that they have, like the curricular, the entire curricular is available for ISB. They have the entire course details out. Go through each course, see what relates to you, what might be relevant to you, and feel free to reach out to any alums. I reached out to a lot of people during the ISP process just to know what goes on, not only in the academic sense, but in the co-curricular scene as well. What all things might interest me out of academics, uh, even placements. Everyone in ISB, the alums are immensely helpful. They will let you know whatever the tiniest questions that you have, they'll answer all of those. So yeah, I think they do call MBA a networking journey. So network, that's very important.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. Thank you once again, Arnab, and all the best for your time at ISB.
Thank you. Anytime.